This is me, Clarice Bean. I'm not an only child, but I sometimes wish I was. My family is 6 people, which is sometimes too many. Not always, just sometimes. Mainly my dad is mostly in an office answering the phone and going, "I can't talk now, I'm up to my ears in it." Mum is always gribbling about pants on the floor and shoes on the sofa. She says, "This house doesn't clean itself, you know. Who do you think does everything around here? Mr. Nobody? I don't get paid to pick up your smelly socks. If I did, I'd be a rich woman," etc., etc., non-stop. I am the 3rd oldest, and I think it would have been a good idea if I was the youngest too. I'm not quite sure why my mum and dad wanted to have more children after me. They don't need another one, and it's a shame because he's spoiling it for everyone else. He's called Minel Cricket, and he tends to be utterly a nuisance. He's non-stop whining and causing other people to get themselves in trouble. You might think it would be a relief to come to school, but if you do, then obviously you don't know some of the people in my class, naming no names, i.e. Grace Grappello. What a show-off. Sometimes I stare boredly into space, thinking utterly of nothing. This makes Mrs. Wilburton very irritated. I get on her nerves. I know this because she's always telling me I do. To be honest, Mrs. Wilburton is not my favourite person on the planet of Earth. Unfortunately, I am from Earth and she is my teacher. Mrs. Wilburton says I have got utterly not a speck of concentration. I'm trying to prove her wrong about this by trying to remember to concentrate. I think about it all the time. I'm so desperately trying not to concentrate, and I say to myself, "Don't drift off like you did yesterday." And then I start thinking about how I drifted off yesterday and how I was thinking I must listen to Mrs. Wilburton and all the things she's telling me. And then I'm wondering, how does all this stuff she's telling me fit into my head? And then I'm wondering if I should have a clear out of the stuff I don't need anymore. You know, like when my dad cleared out the attic, except we all decided we needed everything and he just had to put it all back again. But maybe valuable space is being taken up in my head with not the important things, and that is why I can't concentrate. Because all my concentration space has been used up on things like elbows off the table and don't pinch your brother and pointless, not needed things which don't matter. Clarice Bean, will you please come back down to earth this instant? It's Mrs. Wilburton. You can tell by her honking goose voice. She says, "Clarice Bean, you are utterly lacking in the concentration department. A common housefly has got more ability to apply itself. And I want to say you are utterly lacking in the manners department, Mrs. Wilburton, and a rhinoceros has got more politeness than you." But I don't say it because Mrs. Wilburton is allowed to say rude things about me and I am not allowed to say them back. That is the rules of school. Then Mrs. Wilburton says, "Right, class, I am announcing the very exciting subject of this year's School Open Day competition." Mrs. Wilburton doesn't look one bit excited, but I think it would take an elephant running into the classroom waving its arms about to get Mrs. Wilburton hopping around. Anyway, everybody must pair up and think of an exhibit that they would like to put together and have on show for when all the parents traipse in to see just what their little darlings have been getting up to. Of course, me and Betty Moody are a pair because we are utterly best friends. Mrs. Wilburton says the project must be based on a book we have read and learnt something from. It sounds utterly dreary to me. When I get home, I go straight upstairs to the airing cupboard. I take a mini cheese with me because they are my favourite things at the moment, and you never know when you might want something to nibble. The airing cupboard is a good place to be on your own by yourself, and it's where I like to read my book. You need a torch, and it is lucky that I got one for Christmas. I had to ask for it and put a note up the chimney for Father Christmas. I don't think I believe in Father Christmas, but Mum and Dad want me to, so I write to him anyway. I wrote, "Dear Father Christmas, if you are true, please can I have a torch, and if you are not true, then please can someone else get me one. I think it's important to keep your options open, because you never know what is the actual in fact truth these days." Granny says the world is a very mysterious place, what with men in space and so on. She says, "After all, who would have thought you would want..."